All of us experience moments where we feel like we are being left behind. Whether in school, sport, or a career, you will push up against the wall of self-deprecation, a feeling that you are not as talented as those who surround you. These moments in our lives prove crucial as a choice lies in front of us. Our peers have pushed beyond and mentors exist outside of our reach. Are we going to give up, or do we do everything in our control to fight back? In essence, that is the story of Blue Lock. Blue Lock is a football manga that focuses on the purest egoism of sports, how players should stop at nothing to crush their opponents not only being opposing teams, but teammates as well. Players must be willing to do anything that will make them stand out from amongst the crowd. This is a story about self-centered athletes trying to make their way to the top as they prove to one man they are worthy of representing Japan. That extreme perspective is echoed by an outlandish setting where a facility is created to turn this generation of Japanese high school strikers into a monster generation that will be able to compete with the world's best. Blue Lock exists somewhere in the middle of the sports manga spectrum. On one end, you have more realistic titles like Slam Dunk and Haikyuu, then on the other, something like Kuroko no Basket, where the players have literal superpowers. The characters of Blue Lock play a pretty realistic brand of football, but their training facility and funding is what puts it into a fantastical realm. Extreme character personalities match the setting, where your nice football boys turn murderers once they step onto the pitch. On top of that, its story doesn't follow the typical narrative structure we come to expect with sports manga. The first chapter opens with our protagonist, Yoichi Isagi, losing his prefectural finals and failing to qualify for the national tournament. In this chapter, the story nods its head to the sports manga of the past. Then Isagi turns his focus from high school to Project Blue Lock, where he will have to compete in a series of challenges, all of which could result in him losing the chance to pursue a career in football. That leads us to the first major match in Blue Lock's story, taking place over 100 chapters into the manga, Blue Lock versus Japan's U-20 roster. If you turned all of the best matches in sports anime and manga into a music festival, this match would be the headline rock concert. This match is a soccer opera, the core of which is a competition between two brothers and their ability to outshine one another. This match has it all, from character dynamics, shocking moments, commentary, to Blue Lock's signature insanity, with characters being as unhinged as you could possibly imagine. All of this creates a match that sticks out like a thumb in the world of sports anime and manga as maybe the most insane match the genre has to offer. There are 5 major threads going into the Blue Lock U-20 match. The first is general excitement for the reader that we get to see our players compete in a legit match. Outside of the first chapter, there are no matches played without both sides playing all strikers. The majority of those matches are played with robot goalkeepers and less than 11 per side. The tension around playing against legit defenders in front of a real crowd makes the anticipation of this match all the better. We wonder how our favorite characters will do outside of the Blue Lock environment. The second is the relationship between the Itoshi brothers, Sei and Rin. Sei Itoshi is introduced in the 4th chapter of the manga as the prodigy of Japan, a youth who spent time playing in Spain and only returns to Japan because of an expiring visa. He refuses to play for any domestic leagues, as well as Japan's U-20 roster, because of the lack of attacking talent. Sei only wants to compete with the best players, evaluating Japan with a cap on their ceiling, and instead of focusing on the World Cup, only cares about winning the European Champions League, until he hears of the Blue Lock project. Then he decides he'll give Japan another chance to show off their abilities through this program, so he elects to play alongside Japan's U-20 roster to see what kind of talent Japan can put on the field, this match being the ultimate test for these players' futures. The number one player he has to judge is his younger brother Rin, the top player at Blue Lock. Rin has shown far superior talent to the majority of players at Blue Lock, and what is most curious about him is his drive to crush his older brother. How their dynamic will play out on the pitch and learning what separates the two is a major piece of intrigue going into this match. The third is Blue Lock's starting 11. At keeper, he plays Gin for his agility, center backs are Jubei and Iki for their field vision and physicality, wing backs he plays Chikari for his speed and Bachira for his ability to press up the field through dribbling, Tobito at defensive midfield for his ability to read the game, Nagi and Isaki playing more attacking midfield roles to support Rin as their striker. This lineup notably leaves out two of the most talented strikers at Blue Lock, Baru and Ryusei. Baru's personality has isolated him for much of the challenges throughout the first two stages of Blue Lock, resulting in him having a lower standing than he really deserves. Even though his talent is undeniable, he must sit on the bench and hope he can play as a substitute in this game. On the other hand, Ryusei is shown to be Rin's direct rival in terms of skill, but instead he is far more violent and self-centered. In a twist of events, Sei demands to add a Blue Lock player to the U-20 team and elects to bring Ryusei alongside him. The fourth thread is Ryusei's dynamic with the U-20 roster. Despite his raw talent, he starts the game on the bench just like Baru because he is unable to gel with U-20's team. However, we all assume he will have a chance to play at some point in this match. The final thread is an ideological one. Will Blue Lock's egoism overtake the traditional approach of the Japanese U-20 roster? Due to the insane amount of funding the Blue Lock project has cost, if they fail to win this match, then their facilities will be shut down, which could spell the end of the players' careers. The match starts off with a damning reality for the players of Blue Lock. Like you would expect, they lean into their offense, as a team with all strikers would, going for a cross from Bachira to Isagi, one of the strongest play patterns the team has to offer, which instantly gets snuffed out by Aku, the U-20's captain. One of Blue Lock's strongest plays instantly dealt with, and after another push, U-20's defense steals the ball and transitions seamlessly through Sei. Scrambling, Blue Lock's instincts save them from an immediate goal, only for the ball to fall at the feet of Sei, who strikes in for the first goal of the match. In classic Blue Lock fashion, Sei Itoshi announces war on the entire field, teammates and opponents alike, that he is far superior than the rest. Here is a reality check for the Blue Lock mentality. Sei didn't go through a facility to get this mindset. The players at Blue Lock have learned how to devour the competition, but that's something that the world's best already cultivate, as shown through Sei. His goal puts tremors through the spines of Blue Lock's competition and forces Rin into an envious frenzy, where he directly responds, trying to recreate Sei's goal, and misses off the crossbar. At the start of this match, Rin is still a step behind his older brother. His impulsiveness reverberates through the Blue Lock players, forcing Isagi and the rest to adapt. And because of their training, they are able to, as Nagi's ability to control the ball allows him to maximize the chaos on the pitch, and even the score 1-1. This is where the philosophy of Blue Lock comes into play. Echo mentions that the players will have to utilize the stress of the situation to make their next leap in evolution, but this type of stress is nothing new to them. They've been through so many situations where their backs are against the wall. This is the entire point of the Blue Lock facility. Even with Rin missing, the rest of the players adapt to the new situation. Despite the gap in talent between Sei and the players at Blue Lock, the hunger of our protagonists outshines that of U-20's roster. For as solid as they are defensively, Blue Lock comes in waves, and through the brilliance of Rin Itoshi, takes the lead. With only a few minutes left in the half, Sei puts pressure and serves the perfect ball to his ace, who fails to make a goal. The end of the half concluding with a miracle save from a Sei strike. Unexpectedly, Blue Lock enters the half with a 2-1 lead over the U-20 team. Within the first 45 minutes, Blue Lock has already proved their mindset to be far superior to the U-20 roster. Within this half, the bigger ideas to Blue Lock's exaggerated story has already began unfolding. Despite not being a typically constructed team, Blue Lock's camaraderie exceeds that of the U-20 team. They may seem less balanced, but their constant internal competition has forced each player to evaluate the strengths strengths and weaknesses of their teammates, and in every single moment, all of them challenge one another to be better. While the U-20 roster covers a superior range of attributes, Blue Lock's obsession with improvement and evolution gives them the edge. It has also become clear that Ryusei will have to be subbed on if the U-20 team has any chance of a comeback, as the game has quickly spiraled out of their hands. While the first half of this match has yet to dial up the tension to 11, it does a fantastic job at paying off the different skill sets of the players. While they still lack the general balance of the U-20 roster, seeing these strikers excel at different roles is immensely satisfying. For example, Chikori's speed allows him to shift from offense to defense perfectly, and Jubei's jumping ability allows him to excel on defense. While the characters only care about goals, the first half of this match does wonders to show the other nuances of football. Blue Lock often gets accused of having poor messaging, but it uses its extremeness to show that the best environment for growth is a challenging one, and players who put growth above all else can excel in a wide variety of environments and situations. This is highlighted through the talk of flow before the match. Flow occurs when a person can envelop themselves in a task that is neither too easy or challenging for their current skill set. In a way, the Blue Lock facility is a series of challenges meant to unlock flow state within players. Blue Lock shows how challenging but realistic environments may be the most essential ingredient in personal growth. Before the second half gets underway, the story gives us the long-awaited backstory for Rin and Sei. It seems Sei always had an aptitude for playing football and is admired by Rin from an early age. In fact, Sei's style of play is so mesmerizing that Rin finds himself wanting to take the field with him. For a time, the two make an unstoppable duo until Sei goes to Spain to search out even better players. When he leaves, he declares he'll be the greatest striker in the world, with Rin right behind him. Without his brother, Rin finds football far more limiting, as he cannot play as freely as he did before, so he overpowers everyone on his own. Eventually, a changed Sei returns from Spain, a player who wants to be the world's greatest midfielder and not striker. Ren's entire outlook on football shatters, as he is only played to be alongside his older brother, the brother that wanted to be the greatest striker in the world. Sei beats him in a game of one-on-one and tells Rin to stay out of his life. Sei has outgrown his younger brother. This backstory is extreme in the way that all of the best moments in Blue Lock are. You get the sense that Sei only played with Rin because he was so much better than the other players around him, even if he was still a worse version of himself. By experiencing the greater world in playing in a nation that produces top footballers, Sei can only come to the conclusion that anyone worse than him has no purpose in playing. Rightfully, Rin feels cheated by his older brother, as all of their earlier moments of playing together were fake, so he dedicates his life to beating Sei in football. Now the second half begins, and things are different right from the start, as Ryusei gives U-20 a demon to finish their plays, and Blue Lock finds themselves on the back foot. Ryusei steps up to the plate and matches Sei's skill on a free kick just outside the box, and manages to score, tying the game at 2 apiece. This demon duo responds with another onslaught of attacks, as Ryusei finds the back of the net, and U-20 takes the lead. Ryusei's presence marks a shift for the stakes of the match, for he is a product of the Blue Lock project, and the jump in quality for the U-20 team upon his arrival on the pitch shows that the project has been a success. Echo tells the same thing to Isagi when he asks for changes to be made. Over halfway through the match, the tension of our players losing their careers goes away, but the Blue Lock project would be a failure if that turned the switch off for their players. For Blue Lock, it is all about devouring the person in front of them, getting a chance to prove themselves on each and every play. Now Baru, Blue Lock's Joker, enters the ring. Blue Lock makes an adjustment for full scoring potential, with Baru and his willingness to play football 1 versus 21. Here, Blue Lock represents an ever-present reality in sports. Scorers will forever catch the attention of viewers and dreams of children. Goal contribution is the most sought-after part of football and creates a phenomenon for younger players. In youth sports, coaches are obliged to play their best athletes in positions that will allow them to score. As players age and the competition gets stiffer, good athletes are forced to switch positions, often leading attacking players to become defensive ones. This was the case for U-20's captain, Oliver Aku. Aku is the anchor to U-20's defense and opposes the Blue Lock players at every stage of the game. His defense forces the Blue Lock players to reevaluate their strategy at multiple points. But he wasn't always a defensive force. In fact, Aku used to play striker. Aku played for a team that supported complete teamwork and limited the shine of individual players. Even though Aku's sights were set on being the greatest striker in the world, he was limited by his environment that didn't allow him to explore how high his abilities could go. So he took things into his own hands, shifting from offense to defense. It seems Say had a similar shift as he refocused on midfield play instead of being a striker. Aku dedicates himself to stopping strikers, and the Blue Lock mentality comes in force to show him the type of players he can now support. And here we get the sequence of the match. Isagi finally makes a breakthrough, using all of the pieces on the field to create a picture where he will score the tying goal. Everything falls right for him, until Sei makes an unexpected play and puts pressure on Isagi, which results in him making a final effort to instead get the ball to Rin. Except Isagi's been read like a book. His connection to Rin too obvious, and the ball gets stolen by Baru as he smashes the ball in one of the most iconic panels in Blue Lock. The game is now tied 3-3, and Baru finally shows his skill on the biggest stage, announcing that he deserves to be considered with the best players at Blue Lock. His obsession to outshine his teammates allow him to understand their plays better than anyone else on the field, a twisted form of teamwork that results in an awakening of talent. The final few minutes of the game leaves space for two transformations: Rinatoshi's experience in the flow state and Isagi's convergence of opportunity and skill. Sei takes control back as quickly as you would expect, forcing Rin to find the core of his brother's playstyle in what he calls beautiful destruction. Sei plays with heightened skill and clarity, thinking through his plays before he makes them. This allows Rin to stop his cross and transform into a player of intuition. And instead of thinking through his plays like usual, he plays in an animalistic way, in the same way he did when his body compelled him to hit Sei's cross all those years ago. Rin finds a difference in his game from his older brother and takes on the entire field, making one last attempt that narrowly misses the goal. Sei goes on the counter, but Rin is not done with him yet. With a watchful eye, Isagi makes a bet that Rin in his current state will be able to overcome Sei. And he does, with a tackle that happens to have the ball land directly in front of Isagi, and he strikes it through the net with a last-second score to give Blue Lock the dramatic 4-3 win over the U-20 team. The match ends with Isagi's goal, a goal built out of true field vision. In the first chapter, Isagi passes the ball because it seems to be the right thing to do. He simply got unlucky that his teammate didn't score. Here, he's in full control of the game and has the skill to take advantage when the ball falls to his feet. The entirety of the game is manipulated by Isagi, warping around his understanding of his teammates, and it results in a win for Blue Lock. After all of his training, Isagi understands that luck is where opportunity meets preparedness. In that moment, Isagi was ready to score the winning goal, and you look back on the match and realize that he played just as an essential part as Sei. He made the game warp around him through his ability to analyze the field. He devoured each player and made them dance to his tune on his way to victory. A cloud hangs over the elation of winning as you realize that some of the best players may be suited to playing different positions. You wonder if Isagi's clear vision would make him better suited as an attacking midfielder, but Shira would be a perfect wingback and Gin would make for a great goalkeeper. Moving forward, you wonder how long the other players' dreams will last. When will their dreams of goals turn into dreams of tackles and assists? In the end, Rin's greatest play is a defensive one. That is what I love so much about this match. It seamlessly changes the stakes from our players' careers could be over to playing for pride. The game goes back and forth with characters continuously outshining one another, and when the time has run out and your favorite team has won, it still leaves a feeling that there is major changes on the wind for our favorite characters. This match holds the truest idea of Blue Lock, that we should be striving to compete in internal competitions within environments that force us to grow. You can't reach flow without finding proficiency. During the moments in our lives when we face the wall of self-deprecation, we should think back to this match as the path forward. Blue Lock may seem like a story of loud and overconfident players ripping their shirts off trying to kill their friends or getting sexual pleasure from scoring goals, but underneath the ballad of Blue Lock's spectacle is a critique of stagnation. The only way we lose to the most difficult moments in our lives is when we stop looking to improve. That is the essence of anime and manga's most insane sports match. The essence of Blue Lock versus U-20. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be on the lookout in the future. I will be doing some anime watch-alongs on my Patreon, so there'll be more announcements about that soon. But in the meantime, be on the lookout for more videos, and I hope to see you in the next one.